The term human resource development is used with different meanings in different contexts. According to F.H. Garbison, human resources are the energy, skills, talent, and knowledge of people which are or which potentially can or should be applied to the production of goods or the rendering of useful services. In human resource management, HRD is defined as organized learning activities arranged within an organization in order to improve performance and or personal growth for the purpose of improving the job, the individual and or organization. According to this definition, HRD includes the areas of training and development, career development, and organization development. We are using HRD in a broad way to mean human capital development. The most important indicators of HRD are generally classified into those first one those of which measure a country's stock of human capital, and two those of which measure the additions to the stock. This is the rate of human capital information over a specified period. The stock of human capital indicates the level of HRD in a country, whereas the rate of human capital formation indicates its rate of improvement. When we speak of human capital, what we mean is that an individual, by investing in the following categories, can improve his capability, their health and facilities and services, to on-the-job training, including apprenticeship, 3. Formal education, 4. Study programs for adults, not formal education and extension programs in agriculture, and 5. Migration of individuals and families in search of jobs. In the past, economics believed that the rate of economic growth of nations can be increased only by increasing the investment in physical capital, but since 1960s they have realized that investment in human capital is as important as investment in physical capital. Of all these factors that increase human capital, education is considered very important. We have now a separate branch known as economics of education. Its birth was announced by Schultz in 1960 in a survey on human capital theory. Though economists like Adam Smith and Marshall expressed opinions on the value of education, it is only since the last 5 decades economists have started applying the tools of economics to study the economic importance of education. Sometimes it is asked whether education is consumption or investment. We may note that it is no longer a major topic of controversy. It is agreed that education is both consumption and investment. Economists treat it mostly as investment. Harbison and Myers have given the following as human resource indicators. Number of teachers. First one is number of teachers, first and second levels per 10,000 population. Second one is engineers and scientists per 10,000 population. Third one is physicians and dentists per 10,000 population. Fourth one is pupils enrolled at first primary level education as a percentage of the estimated population aged 5 to 14 inclusive. Fifth one is the adjusted school enrollment ratios for first and second levels combined. Sixth one is the pupils enrolled at second level secondary education as a percentage of the estimated population aged 15 to 19 inclusive. And seventh one, enrollment in third level higher education as a percentage of the age group 20 to 24. The first 3 indicators are used for measuring the stock of human resources, and the last 4 are measures of additions to the stock. The following 2 indicators tell us about the orientation of higher education: the percentage of students in scientific and technical faculties in a recent year, the percentage of students enrolled in the faculties of humanities, fine arts, and law in the same year. Harbison and Myers constructed a simple composite index of HRD by taking the arithmetic total of one enrollment of at second level of education as a percentage of age group 15 to 19, adjusted for length of schooling, and 2. Enrollment at the third level of education as a percentage of the age group multiplied by a weight of 5. They have given more weightage to higher education than second level education. Based on the composite index of HRD, they classified countries into underdeveloped, 2 partial developed, 3 semi-advanced, 4 advanced. HRD and economic development. There is a close relationship between the indicators of HRD and indicators of economic development. The level of economic development can be studied by making use of the following indicators: gross national product (GNP) per capita in United States dollars, percentage of the active population engaged in agricultural occupation, public expenditures on education in as a percentage of national income, and fourth one, the percentage of the total population in the age group 5 to 14 inclusive. The findings of an important study by Harbison and Myers revealed: first one, there is a very high positive correlation between the composite index of HRD and GNP per capita in US dollars. There is a high negative correlation between the composite index and the percentage of active population engaged in agriculture. Second one, there are also high correlations between the adjusted second level enrollment ratio and GNP and percentage engaged in agriculture. Third one, correlations between the first level enrollment ratio and GNP and percentage in agriculture are lower than the correlations of either the composite index or the second level enrollment ratio with GNP and percentage in agriculture. This shows that an index based on higher levels of education correlates more significantly with measures of economic development than one based on the lowest level of education. While evolving strategies for HRD, the government has to make some basic choices. It has to decide in formal education whether the emphasis should be on quality or quantity. In secondary and higher education, it has to decide whether priority should be given to science and technology or law, arts and humanities. It has to decide in skill development whether the reliance should be placed on the pre-employment formal training or in-service training. It has to decide whether incentives should be provided by manipulation of wages and salaries or should be left to market prices. And it has to consider the needs and desires of the individual and needs of the state. The choice between quality and quantity in educational development can take many forms. Some countries have to choose between education for all or high quality secondary and university education for a smaller number of potential leaders. There is also choice between educating fewer students with better qualified teachers and large numbers with unqualified teachers. In general, political and social pressures lead to emphasis on quantity, whereas rapid economic growth requires high level manpower, and there is also should be proper balance in the development of education in science and technology and law, arts and humanities in secondary and higher education. The theories of human resource development in a general way refer to educational planning. They can be divided into three categories: manpower approach, social demand approach, rate of return approach. Manpower approach to educational planning assumes manpower with different types and levels of education is essential to attain a certain growth rate of GNP. The target is divided into different sectorial contributions to GNP. In a given year, GNP is divided into different sectors and manpower structure in each of these sectors is analyzed. Then the needed manpower with different levels and types of education is estimated. Death, retirement and migration are taken into account to estimate the necessary manpower. From the additional manpower requirements, enrollment figures are worked out, but the post manpower forecast proved that the estimates are far away from actual requirements. Social demand approach for education can be studied by making use of the social rate of return analysis. If you assume education rate of return as approach, if you assume education is an investment, then we may look it as an individual investment and social investment under conditions of perfect competition. Individual investment would be undertaken if the internal rate was greater than the market rate of interest. But today education and health are largely in the public sector. Social investment criteria is that the resources are to be allocated to levels of education and years of schooling so as to equalize the marginal social rate of return on educational investment.